And now, the Big D and Bubba Weekly Podcast.
Big D and Bubba, they have a show 5 days a week, but they don't get to say everything that's on their mind, so they have an extra one, and that's how we get the podcast, the podcast, the podcast. Big D and Bubba podcast, the podcast, the podcast. Big D and Bubba podcast.
I just wanted to hum for no reason. I never did that before. I've never hummed my way through that. Hey, just a little heads up. At the end of this podcast, we're going to have a really fun interview with Justin Moore. If you didn't get to see it on our YouTube channel, you can check it out there, obviously, and we're going to have it for you. Y'all okay? Are y'all still betting?
No, I'm done.
Oh, okay. So that'll be at the very end of the podcast after the closing jingle. Here we are in the O'Reilly Auto Parts studio. O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. And believe it or not, I have to go back and get some more windshield wipers. I've got too many people in my family with cars that need wipers.
They put them on for you. That's good.
Well,
because they're impossible.
I put them on myself. Okay. YouTube. That's how I learned how to do that little J clip. I'm like, what the heck is a J clip? I've never messed with that before. Oh, okay. I see how it works now. If you love music, you need to download the Pickle Jar app. Show some gratitude to your favorite artists, your bands, your peeps, and support some cool causes around town. Plus, you can watch exclusive content that you cannot find anywhere else. Download it today, Apple, and for your Droid at picklejar.com.
Can you get my phone up?
Yeah.
All right. So the Queen, of course, passed away, and it seems, we were like, oh, wow, this is a big deal. I mean, it's historic. It really is, and it really is historic. But I watched it, I don't know, for hours afterwards yesterday, and following all the stories, started kind of getting into other
we watched
behind-the-scenes stuff.
We watched it as it happened here in the studio because we were in, and they had broken in on the BBC, and we knew that something was up because they were 20 minutes late. They said, we will have a report at noon, and then they did not give a report at noon, a statement. And I'm like, all right, it's noon 5, noon 10, noon 15. I'm like, she is dead, bro. This is not good. Holy cow, it's happening. And sure enough, when they finally showed the BBC guy.
This is BBC News from London. Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
And then, of course, Twitter took it and did this to it.
Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
That was so great.
What did they do?
And they're making fun of the fact that
Americans don't care.
It was football last night because when Hoda from NBC
has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Hoda went straight to football.
If you didn't see that clip of
Very
Hoda,
disrespectful
it was
to
so
British people.
Funny though. It's halftime and she's standing there and she's all somber. She's like, Suzanne or whatever her name is supposed to be standing right next to me. You notice she's not here because she's on her way to London right now, and tomorrow morning she'll be catching everyone up on everything going on with the passing of Queen Elizabeth. But right now, and then everybody starts. She's got all these people
are behind
pom poms.
They were hiding the pom poms. They come out. They're like,
so like they were doing the somber thing. They were doing the somber thing, and the pom poms are behind their backs.
Yeah, they're just kind of standing there quiet. And
just kind of like, okay, can you get over this? Because we got football. And then it just goes into this confetti.
Oh my god!
Confetti's flying. There's a trapeze artist. A bear on a tiny tricycle.
Yes, it was so great.
I did see a thing on where they were doing these interviews in London on the streets, and this lady says, "What do you think?" She goes, "I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Queen or the monarchy, but so
they
it doesn't
always
really
find one of those.
It doesn't really bother me." But yeah, everyone else is like, I don't. The thing is, I didn't know there's an anti-monarchy thing for a while, and it seemed to come back around. Like
I got a guy reached out on Instagram. Literally, I'm going to read. Like he reached out and he said, hey, something. I was like, yeah, what's going on? And he said, literally, this is what he put: our queen is dead. Like he reached out and he's like, out of nowhere. I had not heard from this guy in a long time, like maybe a year or so, like one of our British listeners. And he literally, that's what he broke in to say was our queen has passed or whatever.
Our queen. That's how they see it. You know, it's just, you know, all you got to say is it's history. This is one person who's been there. So I looked it up last night. 86.5% of the British population is under the age of 70. So for 86.5% of the people, she's always been the queen. That's crazy. That's a long time.
Yeah.
So
and now they have to redo their whole national anthem and everything. That's
but
like
all the people, all the negative people on Twitter. This woman from I can't remember what university, you know, Carnegie Mellon. This woman griping about how it's colonization and we're horrible, and I hope she's burning in hell or whatever. I'm like, wow,
What?
you're a horrible person. Because you know what? The queen didn't choose this either. She was born into it. She did the best she could. Like,
yeah.
she's
I watched The
been
Crown.
a
I know
very-
all about it.
She's been a very calm presence for that country the whole time. Her job is to remind people to, you know, to link people to the past and to remind people to move slowly and stop, you know.
You know,
and
I was
stay
at the Tower of London 2019, right before all the lockdowns and everything, and we were having a conversation with some of the Beefeaters. The Beefeaters are the security guys and the tour guide guys, and they kind of are. They're all military dudes, but they wear the old timey outfits.
Yeah.
And they wear a lot of hats like they do all kinds of different jobs on location. But so we were talking to one of the Beefeaters, and he said something about, we were talking about politics at the time because the 2019, that was right in the middle of, you know, the election. Everybody was talking about 2020. And he said, well, just remember, everything that we're going through now has happened before. He said, name something. And I was like, a plague. And he's like, oh, we've been through many plagues. And, you know, start going through it. And it's true. Every single thing that you can think of has pretty much happened before.
Telemarketers.
I was about to say,
Oh, that's happened.
Gotcha. Social media cutting people out for having the
Telemarketers.
wrong thoughts.
Hi, I'm here to tell you about your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
it's a
That guy
telemarketer
doesn't
at
knock
your
on my
door.
door 6 times a day and ask me if I want to sell
He's
a
saying
property
back
I
in-
don't own
They
anymore.
just made it easier. That's all they
Yeah,
did.
well, it's awful.
But yeah, I mean, that's what that is.
I'd like to talk to you about your car's warranty. Hate that guy. I hate the lady
Telemarketers
calling
are
me
the
about
same,
my
or
property.
the old. That's the people going door to door selling vacuum cleaners
Yeah, but that happened once a week, not 5 times a day.
because
It's
they
not
didn't have the
same.
convenience
Yeah.
or the
When's the
manpower.
last time someone came to your house to sell you a vacuum cleaner?
No, I never in my life.
That's not
actually.
our- that's not our
that's
We
area.
had
not
a lady come here one time to try to sell us office supplies.
Yeah, I remember
Remember?
that.
That was crazy.
Did we bring her in?
You wanted to, but she got away. You know,
She got
She
away.
got away. We were gonna-
Like
we
we're
were
trying to
gonna-
lure people in.
we were live on the air. We were like, come on in. Let's talk to you about your paper supplies.
Jeez, who knows? Who knows what we may have saved our own lives that day. Who knows?
Maybe.
She could have been like a serial killer.
Dude, you don't know. All that stuff in Memphis is crazy. The guy going on that killing spree,
Yeah.
putting part of it on Facebook Live or whatever.
Well,
It's also Memphis. Someone's like, "What's going on with Memphis?" I'm gonna go Memphis.
Dude,
do you
my cousin is a surgeon, and they were there in Memphis, and he said, "Man, just when you come to visit, just be careful." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Just be careful. Anytime you are driving, people leap out in front of cars to get hit on purpose."
Yeah, the insurance thing.
Well, no, it's for the medicine.
Oh, well,
They jump in front of cars so they can go to the hospital and get a prescription for whatever painkiller it is, whether it's for themselves or to sell it. They're doing it. And he's like, yeah, he goes, this is every day, all day. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, just be on the lookout. I'm like, what?
the only reason you should be going to Memphis
Is to go see Elvis's place.
is IKEA. That's about it.
Dude, I love
Get some ribs.
I love
drive through on my
Graceland.
way to Tunica.
Graceland is cool, man. I like going to
That's
Elvis's.
nice.
Well, I was not into it.
Really?
No, it was just like, I don't know. I was expecting it to be
Big and gigantic.
like
and-
today's standards. It
Yeah,
looks
oh,
like
no.
if you got like a rich old aunt
Yeah.
who
That's what
lives
she would
in.
live like.
He was the richest old aunt at the time. I mean, dude, that house back then.
Yeah,
was
but I know.
that house was old.
gigantic.
That house was old and
Did
kind
he-
of unimpressive when he bought it. Like,
So he had no connection to it from family or anything?
no, it was
He
he just bought it. It's named after the original owner's wife. Her name was Grace. That's why it's called Grace.
And that was her land.
That was So it
Would have
you
been
know,
great. His wife, her name was Land.
Her name was Land.
It's Landland. Welcome to Landland.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the
I thought
property-
it was fine. It
I
was
think he
fine.
originally intended to build more of the property, but then he just decided to kind of keep it like it was. But he built the racquetball court and there's a building in the back and there's all kind of extra stuff there. But yeah, I'm looking to see. It's 3,700. Oh no, that's the address. I'm trying to look for the square footage because it's not.
Check
It's
it
not
on
that
Zillow.
big. Yeah, I'm looking on Zillow here to see exactly the square footage of Graceland. But this says it's 17,000 square feet.
That's got to be with the
That's gotta be
racquetball
including
court
all the
and
other
all the
stuff,
other,
yeah.
the office in the back and all that.
And isn't he
Crazy.
buried there?
Yeah, he is.
Buried on the property.
They originally buried him in like a local cemetery, but then too many people were.
Yeah.
It was causing problems, so they moved him to the site.
Like, what is it with people in celebrity graves? I don't think I would ever want to go to a celebrity grave.
I went to that cemetery in Paris where all the famous people are buried. It was fascinating.
Really?
Yeah,
I did the same thing I did the one in Moscow.
Yeah, I don't know that I would do that in America. Like it doesn't, look in Nashville. There's all kinds of celebrity,
But
famous
I mean,
country
like,
stars.
just think
graves.
about all like the celebrities. Like, you got the Hollywood graveyards and those kind of. I would. There's
Yeah.
nobody that I would want to go see their headstone. Like, why would I even care?
I don't know. People care.
Have you seen the one where the guy? It's in Paris. I think it's somewhere in France, where it looks like a guy laying down on the ground, and you can see his face and everything, like he's sculpted. It's that way, like he's laying on his own grave or whatever. And people come and rub his junk for good luck.
You're
Oh.
kidding.
So it's all like tarnished. It's like worn away or whatever.
His junk is tarnished.
You got tarnished junk.
That's kind of
Yeah, it's weird.
sad and
It
weird.
is.
Well, there's this. You got tarnished junk because people keep touching it.
But yeah, no. Getting back to the Queen. So what happens now? So I saw that he's going to the palace.
Yeah.
So
He's the
he's now
king.
King Charles, and is he staying King Charles, or
Yes.
is he going to change his
They
name?
announced yesterday that he was going to be King Charles.
Okay, because I remembered like he had said something years ago where he said he was leaning towards being King George
Yes. He decided to stick with Charles.
because he saw Hamilton.
I don't think. Well,
You remember King George in Hamilton? Never mind.
no,
I've never seen Hamilton.
never seen it.
Really?
No,
Oh,
never saw it.
the one on Disney Plus is great because he spits as he's singing. It's great because he's like they're trying to make him kind of play off as being kind of not with it, and he spits. And I don't think it was on purpose, and they left it in. They made sure to kind of highlight that
It's all
spot.
backlit and you can see it.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So he's now the king, and then who's after him? Because he's
His
like
son.
70-something years old.
William.
Can you go backwards?
Which one is William?
William's the oldest son. The one he's bald. He's married.
Oh yeah,
to
yeah. I like him.
Catherine. Yeah, he's all right. I mean, I don't know that.
And
much
then
about
after him, it's
His son.
Georgie.
him.
Why isn't it his brother?
No, it's his son. It's always the son of the oldest son.
Oh, okay. So
So yeah,
if you're
Harry's
born
out.
second,
That's
you're
why,
done.
You're
yeah,
done.
that's why Harry's.
Unless your brother dies,
Or
and-
if what if he says he doesn't want to do it?
it could pass to his son still if he's got a son.
And William still. I mean, he wants to do it. You can tell
Yeah.
he's like
Can't-
totally grooming.
So could he like say, "Hey, I want my brother to do it. I don't want to do it, but I don't want my kid to do it. I want my brother to
No,
do it."
you can't.
You can't
the
decide
kid
it?
could abdicate, but they would never. I don't think they would allow that. They would name him the monarch, and he could abdicate later, give it to his brother or his uncle. But it's been weird. So look, Queen Elizabeth's dad was the second son. He was never supposed to be king, and his older brother. There've been so many movies made about this. His older brother was not very well liked in the family. He was kind of a playboy. He was always running around with all these women, and then he took up with Wallace Simpson, who was an American which was a strike against her, and she was a divorcee. She had been married twice. So, and when
Is
he
that the one that
started-
was the Nazi sympathizer?
Yes,
Okay.
later, much later. But part of the thing about that, by the way, is they sympathized with the Nazis because they were out of power, and like Hitler was saying, "Hey, if I win, I'll make you the king again." So I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying if he had become the king, he probably would have been against Hitler as well. But he was living in France and he had no power at the time. But so he abdicated. He became king when George V died. David, the prince, became King Edward VIII. And then he was king for not very long, a few months. And then he abdicated and Elizabeth's dad became
So he quit
king.
so he
quit.
could go
And he
and be
never-
with the American
and
chick?
he didn't have children at the time and he never had any children. So it was always, it was never supposed to be George and it was never supposed to be Elizabeth. Like she didn't have any brothers, so it was her. She when she was born, there was almost no chance she would become queen because her dad wasn't going to be king. Her uncle was still unmarried, but he was going to get married, right, and have kids, and nope, he never did. So it fell to her. So this woman was never supposed to be the queen to begin with, and then she stayed queen for 70 years.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Can you please do the backwards thing?
No.
Starting, come on.
I can't do it anymore, man. I'm old. I kind of get lost.
Well, okay, but now you have a new one because you've got King Charles.
All right, you going to pull up the British monarchs and test me?
British.
Monarch list.
This is so fascinating. You used to be so good at this. You could go back almost 1,000
I get kinda
years.
caught up.
Okay, I know you're a betting man. Do you think I spelled monarch right or wrong?
There's no way. There's no way you spelled it
He
right.
spelled it with a K.
K.
K-O-N-A.
I did spell it wrong,
Yeah, good.
but I was close.
Okay.
I spelled it Monacrch.
Monarch?
By the way, where's Carson?
I don't know.
British monarch?
Hey, Carson. Anyway.
We got a word for you to spell.
Okay. All right.
All right, so I'm going
Charles
back to
III.
16, 17, 14.
Okay.
We
I
took a
can go
little
that
trip.
far.
All
I
right.
can go further than that.
Well, this is where it starts.
Well, I got to go backwards. So you got to scroll up. So I'm
Oh,
going to start with Charles III, and his mother was Queen Elizabeth II.
they've already fixed it.
They've already added him to the list.
Wait,
All
let
right.
him get in his groove, man.
Okay.
You can't mess him up.
Before Queen Elizabeth II was George VI. Before him, Edward
Yes.
VIII.
Yes.
Before him, their father, George V.
Yes.
His father, Edward VII.
Yes.
His mother, Queen Victoria.
Come on.
Before Victoria was her uncle, William IV.
Yes.
And then the four Georges before that, George IV,
Say it.
George III, George II, George I.
Yeah,
Before him, Queen Anne. Before her, William and Mary.
Wait. It ended.
Oh, you're only going back to the United Kingdom. Where did it end? With Anne?
It ended with Anne.
No. Then you got to look up monarchs of Great Britain because before it was the United Kingdom, it was Great Britain. So
Okay,
I'll keep going though.
so,
Before
all right.
Anne was William
Let me
and
get
Mary.
off Google. I go to Loserville.
Okay, William and Mary. This is not just like, how do you know this?
Didn't
Like,
play football in highschool.com.
I mean,
I love
it's-
you. No, I
but
love it. You know I
couldn't-
love it.
I couldn't. Okay, Big D, here we go.
No.
Presidents going backwards.
No, okay,
Biden?
wait, I'm not
Oh,
done.
oh.
What are we stopping for?
Oh, okay.
No one ever wore my class ring
Mary.
besides me.net.
That's not true. I had the girlfriend with the class ring on the chain.
Played the guitar and sat her on the bonfire.
That's right. That worked.
Never took a girl home.
William and Mary.
Drank alone at a very, very early age. .edu. All right, I got it.
You got
So
it.
now I'm English monarchs.
Yes.
List of English monarchs. Now.
Okay, and you're at Anne.
Oh my God!
William
How
and Mary?
far does this stupid
Oh, it
thing
goes back
go?
to like 600.
Oh, there's like words I don't even know how to say them.
But Patrick do.
All right, so
before William and Mary is James II, right? Yes.
dude, I don't know. Like I'm reading it, and I don't even know.
Before James II, Charles II. Before him, Cromwell. Before Cromwell, Charles I. Charles I, James I. James I was after Elizabeth I, who was after Mary, who was after King Henry VIII, King Henry VII, and then it gets really weird before King Henry VII.
That's
It's
amazing.
really, and that goes back to the 1500s now.
So Biden, Trump, Obama,
Right?
George Bush, W,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Clinton, George Sr., Reagan, Carter. Ooh, this is where I get lost. This is where I mess it
Nixon?
up.
No,
before
no.
Carter,
Ford.
before
Ford.
Carter was
Ford.
Oh, see, I'd already lost.
Yeah.
I was going to go Johnson.
Before Carter was Ford, then Nixon, Johnson, Kennedy, Eisenhower, Truman, Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, Hoover, and then I get kind of iffy. Who was before Hoover? Calvin Coolidge?
Coolidge, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm reading.
Coolidge was the Roaring 20s.
So I can
guy.
only go back 100 years
Yeah,
with
like, I don't know,
American
man.
presidents.
I remember
but
that
went
from
back
Gatsby.
600 years with the British monarchs.
So
Kinda
they have all
sad.
these weird names of these, like Alfred the Great. They put these like the Greats. Here's Edgar the Peaceful.
Mhm.
And then some of them get kind of odd.
Ethelred the Unready.
The
That's my
Unready.
favorite. That's my favorite. Yeah.
Is that your
Isn't that,
favorite?
oh, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Like, what a
What's your
weird,
What's your favorite Latin saying?
I don't have. You know,
What's
if I
your-
think about it
Semper
long
ubi
enough.
sub ubi.
What is that?
Always wear underwear.
Oh.
That's what it translates to. That's they teach you that first day of Latin class.
Post
What
hoc
is that again?
ergo proctor hoc.
Semper ubi sub ubi. It's not actually underwear. It's literally sub is under and ubi.
Underclothing. So clothing, underclothing.
It's not even clothing. No, it's literally always WHERE. So it's always wear, underwear. But when you say it, it's funny. That's your Latin teacher jokes, man.
Semper de ubi ubi.
No, semper ubi sub ubi.
All right. What's yours, Patrick?
I don't want to play anymore.
No, I want to know this.
Post hoc ergo proctor hoc
Okay, what's that mean?
means after, therefore, because of it. So it's a way of saying something happens
Mm-hmm.
and then something else happens. You go, well, that's the first thing is the reason.
Right.
Like, you know, you got fired and then you got a new job. Well, you didn't get a new job because you got fired, but
Yeah.
you couldn't have gotten
Mm-hmm.
one. People fall for that all the time, though. It's like
Yeah.
correlation, but not causation. People go, well,
Yes.
you know, these two people. I don't know. Anyway,
No, keep
I'm going to
going
go
on.
back to dead people. So Bubba was talking about the guy where they rub his thing. This is when I went to Paris.
Dude, fix your
What's
screen.
wrong? Oh, my
So
screen is
gross.
all broken.
Yes.
Yeah, it's broken. It's my screen protector. This is Oscar Wilde's tomb, and it became a thing like 100 years ago for women to put on red lipstick and go and kiss Oscar Wilde's tomb. And then he didn't have kids. It's like his great grandnephew who's still alive, and they were bothered by all the red lip marks on his tomb, so they cleaned it off, and then they put this glass thing. I don't know if you can kind of see. They put
No,
a glass
your
thing
screen
around
is
it.
broken. I can't see anything on your
How
screen
did you not see it? Like, I don't even
because
see the
it's
cracks.
terrible. You don't see that?
Not when I'm this close. I don't see it at all.
That's
Broadcast.
interesting, though. I'll tell you something you probably don't know.
Wait, hold on. I don't understand
It's hard
why
to
you
tell.
would stop people from doing that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was cool. It was like
Yeah.
a cool landmark. And then they put up this glass protector thing, and I'm like,
Yeah, why?
you think that guy cares that women showed up to kiss his tomb? Like,
I
that
think
seems
Oscar Wilde would have
would
been
have
like,
loved that.
yeah,
That's
this
what I'm
is
saying. If,
pretty
if I
awesome.
die and it becomes a thing where women show up and put on red lipstick and kiss my gravestone, nobody stop that from happening. That sounds awesome.
Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just get a big thing of my butt, like a cast of my butt, and people can just go kiss the butt.
Oh dear.
What I was going to say is that
See,
something
Bubba?
you,
There you go.
that
Go
you
and
probably
kiss
don't
the
know.
butt.
No, I
Thank you
don't.
for helping
Or
educate us.
put your ear next to the rear. You know, you press your
Is-
ear to it, and they take selfies,
To make the ring
and it
fit,
farts.
girls would take yarn and wrap around it so that they could wear it.
No, my girlfriend put it on a chain and wore it around her neck.
Oh, yeah.
That's how she did that. It was pretty cool.
Like
The,
a
the
cowbell?
chain didn't like catch the hair?
Dang, man. You saying my high school girlfriend had a hairy
Boy, he's
chest?
coming in
That was
I'll-
your joke?
you know what? I apologize, but I will.
I'll apologize, but
But I will stand on the fact there absolutely she could bench press more than you.
no. No, I did date a girl who probably could have bench pressed more than me, much later than high school. She was a big old gal.
I had a high
God
school coach.
almighty.
He always said, "Boys, I'm gonna tell you something. Never date a girl heavier than the weight that you can bench."
That's good advice.
And we're all like, okay.
I would repeat the advice Brent Burns gave us, but it would probably get us canceled, so I won't. My favorite.
Also, that coach, we would get ready to go leave on the bus to go to the game, and he would be at the field house walking around his car. He would lock his doors, and then he would go and you kind of pull up on the handle to see if it's locked.
To test it, yeah.
Yeah, he'd test it, and then he would go around to the passenger side and do the same thing, and then to the back one, and then back around to the other side to the other back one, and then he would go to the front one, which he's already done. And he would do this 3 times.
So that was his little OCD thing? Like that was
Dude,
his...
we would watch that in awe. And we had bets on how many he would do, how many circuits. Because it wasn't always 3. I guess it was, sometimes it was just 1. But it was usually at least 2.
Well, that's like me hitting the lock button on my car keys. We'll be somewhere, and Big D and I will be riding, and I hit the lock button over and over and over, and I don't know why.
He also hangs up the phone. He's like, end, reboot.
And it's not like it's a 1, 2, 3 thing or anything like that. It's just
Yeah.
I like
Well,
to
I
make
get
sure
him-
things are way off.
When I get in my car, it's a reflex where I immediately hit the lock button. The problem is when I'm driving someone and they're going to get in their door, and I'm like, lock! Can you open the door, please? And I'm like, sorry, paranoid. It's
Hey,
fine.
have you bought anything?
Password?
Have you bought any kind of a security thing yet? Like a stun gun or
No,
all the
I
news
have,
this week? I thought.
I know. I have pepper spray in my car that I've always had, and I carry it with me when I'm going walking or running or something.
Yeah, okay. So you've had that, but you haven't done any new stuff.
Nothing extra. I've contemplated the taser. I'm going to be real with you. I am a big klutz. And my fear is that I'm going to trip and fall and tase myself.
You know, I always see okay, so they have those tasers they're selling now where they actually have the barbs that go out
Yeah.
like a cop taser.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what happens if you miss?
Yeah, that's true.
I like the ones, the handheld ones that are like these things where you just hit the little button and it goes.
Yeah. That's what I was looking at. So I also, they make
So you
these,
just press it in.
they make these claws that make you look like Wolverine that they,
Oh.
yeah, that you put in between your fingers and there's these massive.
So you jog.
Yeah, I kind of.
But what if you trip?
Again, I'm very klutzy, but I feel like my confidence would be boosted and I might be more confident in my stride if I'm
Yeah,
Logan.
you're also ready for bears at that point.
You know?
You know, a bear or a mountain lion comes out and you could do like,
Rawr. Yeah, I could just.
your claws against my
Swipe.
claws.
My dad walks with a big old stick, not because he has to, but he always says it's to fight off, anything that bothers me, dogs, hoodlums. Hoodlum is
Hoodlums.
such
What an old man word.
It
A
is.
hoodlum.
Any hoodlums come around, and that or
Ne'er-do-wells.
stray dogs. I'm like, okay, hey man, if that makes you feel better. Also, you look cool walking around with a big old stick like
Well, I used to
Gandalf.
I used to carry a stick, but it was mainly for like rattlesnakes. When I lived in El Paso, I had this mountain in the back of my apartment, and I would just go up the mountain. It was a 6-hour hike up and down. And dude, you'd see rattlesnakes, and I'd have my big walking stick that I would just kind of push them away with, because you walk up on a rattlesnake pretty
Okay,
quick.
first of all, you had me at mountain that takes 6 hours to climb. Like, I'm not doing that to begin with. You add
well,
rattlesnakes
it was
to that,
really
and
only
I'm
3.
good.
It was really only 3. You had to go up and then then back down.
That increases my chance of doing it by none.
What was
None.
fun though, you'd be
There's no way.
you'd be on the mountain, and there all of a sudden a haboob would come by, like
who?
the little sandstorm,
Oh.
and so you're like, I have nowhere to go. So you just duck down behind the biggest rock or whatever that you could find, and just
Okay,
cover your
so-
face.
Nothing about
3
this
hour
is
hike
fun.
up a mountain.
Oh, it was.
Rattlesnakes, sandstorms that come out of nowhere. Wow,
And
that- you're
don't-
right.
Am I
For-
living in the Mummy?
And don't forget the scorpions.
Yeah,
Really add into the adventure
Man,
of it. Oh my
boy,
god.
I'll be thinking about how I'm not doing that next time I'm sitting at a nice air-conditioned poker table with college football all around on every screen.
There
I'll
is
be like, boy,
nothing
I
better
gotta-
than a
I gotta
good hike
a
in the
mountain
desert.
with rattlesnakes and sandstorms.
Dude, desert hikes are some of my favorite things in the world to do. Big D knows. Like many times we'll be doing like a road trip or whatever. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go on a hike, and I'll just take off and I'll see you tomorrow.
It's great.
Awesome.
How much money are you putting on the bets this weekend?
I don't know. I got beat up pretty bad in the football game last night because
How much you put on
nobody
that?
could score. I had $100 on the over because
Jeez.
both those offenses are, oh yeah, and I mean, constantly missing. I missed it by one touchdown, and how many turnovers were there? There were like
A
I
lot.
didn't know.
9. It was ridiculous. It's
I wish
every
I
time
had
somebody
the
almost scored.
I wish I
Ugh.
had the confidence you guys have in gambling.
Yeah.
Like I can't gamble because I don't want to lose anything.
Well, I
we don't
started with
either.
$100, and I was up over 900 after last week's college football.
He's
So I'm
using
like,
money he's already won.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this isn't real money. Like I could take that money out of that account, but then what am I going to do? Buy pizza with it? Whatever. I don't. need that.
$900? I can think of things I'd do with that money.
Yeah, me too.
All I ever think about is
Give
how
me
I
some
want to
Jordans.
bet it on more football.
It also makes the game so much funner.
Oh my gosh.
You
yeah.
start-
I
you-
wouldn't have cared. There's no way I would have watched that game till the end last night. It was a
Right,
blowout.
right,
But I was
right.
waiting to see if somebody scored, and if they'd scored, I would have been so excited.
Yeah, I didn't care about App State
Oh man.
last
no.
weekend. I didn't.
Except
but,
I had money on them to cover, and they did. I was super excited.
Yeah,
But they also you had them straight up, right?
yeah,
Yeah, they didn't win.
that was crazy.
They should have won.
But I did win 18 cents. or
That's
whatever
right.
it was.
Big D made 3 $20 bets for $60, and he won
18
like
cents.
yeah,
I-
$60.18.
I basically,
good for you.
yeah, I
Yeah.
got half of them right,
got-
and they paid out 18
All
cents.
right.
Dude,
Yeah.
you got your money back.
Yeah.
I think you made 5 bets actually for $60
That's
total.
what it was.
That's
But
what
yeah.
it was. But yeah, so
You're
I,
out of, dude,
I
you came
literally-
out ahead. Good for you.
Hey,
The best is like whenever we were at the sports book in Reno, we're watching some games. They have these big giant TVs, and I mean by giant TVs, it's like 20-something foot televisions, and basically the person who has the most money wagered gets to pick what game is on that TV. And what they say that guy had, it was a USC game,
He had
and
50 grand on it.
he had $50,000 on a football game, and he lost.
Oh.
He lost. I think he lost it by like 3.
Oh,
Something stupid. But golly,
Oh,
that was
my
so
gosh.
fun.
Every time something bad would happen, I would look over my shoulder because he was sitting behind us. And I'm like, oh man,
Oh God, he looked straight up like a drug dealer.
dude, he
yeah.
just,
Dude,
at
I
the end,
can't
at the
imagine
end of the
that-
game, he stands up and just.
when I get crazy, like last night, because I'm way up on football bets and I bet $100, I still feel sick when I lose. Like I can't imagine putting $1,000 on a game.
Have you ever gone
That's
to a
nuts.
sports book where you just sit and just all
yeah.
day and they bring you food?
Yeah, I'll do that. But
pretty
where I
dope.
go,
it's the
they also have a poker room, and I'd rather sit in the poker room and play poker. And also, all the football games are on all around you.
Yeah, but how do you
So-
concentrate
so
on
in a-
poker?
But poker, you know, half the time you look at your cards and you go, "No, I'm full. I'm not going to play this hand," because you don't have good cards. So you literally spend half the time just waiting for the next hand to start. And there's in the one poker room I go to, there's like 3 TVs on this wall, 5 on this wall, 3 on this wall, and 5 behind you.
You play poker
So-
at Buffalo Wild Wings?
Yeah, it's
right.
big.
That's what
But it's-
that's what I'm picturing.
More TVs and less clutter than Buffalo Wild Wings. Like you can pretty much look around and see all the games because the poker room's only about twice the size of the studio. So, but yeah, it's so great.
I went to a place like that once. It wasn't a Buffalo Wild Wings, but it was the same thing. Sports bar and had all the TVs,
Oh,
and it was Alabama was playing Ole Miss, and Alabama was #1, and it was a big deal because it's Sunday afternoon, SEC, and I lived in an area that apparently didn't know anything about football. So
I mean,
I'm-
Saturday afternoon.
Saturday,
Sorry,
that's what I mean. My bad. And so I go in and I'm all decked out in my Ole Miss stuff, and I'm looking around. They have every game known to man, except the #1 team in the country and my Ole Miss Rebels. And so I look at the bartender like, "Hey, can you?" And I said, "Can you put on the Alabama game?" Because I'm like, I'm sure you people don't even know what Ole Miss is, and that's fine. And they're like, "Oh yeah, just give us a second." Okay. Then the dude behind me is like, "Where's the Bama game?" Thank you. 15 minutes later, Ole Miss has now scored a field goal, and I'm losing my mind. And I'm like, "Where's the game? You
How
call
are you in a
yourself
sports
a
bar?"
football
Yeah.
bar." And finally, they bring the manager over, and I'm like, "It's CBS. You need an antenna."
By the way, have y'all ever seen Angry Carson?
Yo.
It's
No,
really not,
I'm
it's not
enjoying
good.
this.
I
Is that
did-
the voice?
It,
No,
was,
it's
it
pretty
wasn't.
close.
It wasn't that shrill, but it was close. Yeah, I'm. And again, there I am in the hat, and I've got the bow in my hair, and the whole thing. And the 2 guys I'm with are like, "We're gonna go sit over here." And I'm like, "You're not even fans. You call yourself men."
So you get angry and you turn into a pirate.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm. Suddenly I think I'm gonna fight everybody. Yeah,
Arrgh, where's me football?
and then Ole Miss won
Don't
that game,
make
and it was
me
amazing. So
Pull a hook from my purse.
You should do that. You should go in as a Pirate fan, but you're like a fan of what is Ole Miss's
Rebels?
mascot this week?
I mean,
Well
that's fair. That's fair. The land sharks, yeah.
Oh.
Is that what they are? Honestly,
No,
right
they
now,
don't know.
No,
Heck
we were the black bears, and that was dumb. And then so we did the land shark defense thing. So we put our hands on our head. So yeah,
Wow.
football McFootbally face. That's the new.
you know. Look,
That's
man,
where we're headed.
There were the Black
We're like-
Bears for a while.
that's what I said. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Going with generic things like
Look, man, this is-
Guardians and
Well,
Commanders.
Guardians worked for the city because
Oh,
if you know
God.
about Cleveland
yeah, but
and
that's
the bridge,
That's all
and
it's going to be now because they're already trying to get rid of the animals. Like
All
that's
the
next
animals
thing.
have to
Oh
go?
yeah, they want to
Why?
get rid of all the animal nicknames because it's not fair. You're just why do the Tigers have to be fighting? What if the Tigers are
Yeah, but
peaceful?
Detroit has
Like-
like the lions and the tigers, and that's adorable, right?
Listen,
like that's
I'm with
super
you.
cute.
Yeah.
Chicago has the Bears and the
Bears,
Cubs.
right? Like soup's
It's
cute.
great. But no, it all has to be just generic,
Mm-hmm.
generic because
we can't offend
can't
people
offend
anymore.
anyone.
Look, man,
It's just, oh God.
I'm tired. I'm tired of not being able to offend. There is something I wanted to do on the show today that I was shot down for.
Okay, well, you would have been shot down for that at any point in the history of the 20, however long, 3
Maybe.
years I've worked here. And we would never have agreed
Maybe.
to do that.
I'm going to share a
play.
little something with you, Bubba. You are not our barometer.
You know, the
Nor
crazy
should I
thing is,
be.
Bubba will worry about things where a lot of times you're like, can we say that? And D and I will be like, yeah. What are you
Yeah, it's
worried about?
weird. Like
It's
he's
weird.
overly,
overly sensitive about
Yes.
really inoffensive things, and then
and then he wants to do
Tony F.
reenact the Prince Charles and Camilla sex
like,
talk.
I'm like, what? We're not. He goes, are we doing that? No.
I'll
It
be
was a
her.
joke.
I'll do the voice. Hey, you. I was just thinking about you. I was thinking about you. Yeah,
He's,
I
he's like,
told D,
thought
I
we
said,
were
I'll
doing
be
that.
Camilla.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
mean,
I
I'm-
this
don't
isn't a
want
joke. That
to
wasn't me
exist.
being goofy. That's what
No,
that was the real idea.
Yeah.
That was one of them.
But it was a joke. You said it as a joke.
I said it as a joke.
Bubba can't ever let anything be a joke.
I was like,
Hence,
no, you know what?
Parting
Everything
pillows.
is a
hence
joke.
Kiss
Kiss Whitley.
He can't ever just
Morgan
let it
Whalen.
be a joke.
I want Morgan
we
Whalen
gotta,
to
we gotta
happen.
beat that dead horse until it falls to pieces. Like, how about it was a funny thing we said one time, maybe twice, maybe 2 times.
Most people would have let it float off into the ether. He yanks it.
Grab that sucker out of there.
That's how things get done. You have to throw.
think so,
you have to
no.
throw all the ideas out. No, you do though. You have to throw all the ideas out there and
Yes.
then go. You know what? I want that one. And
But you know,
grab
not
it.
all the spaghetti can stick. Just straight up.
I feel unloved.
No,
You are
we
so
love it. What
loved.
are you talking about? This is love. That's what this is.
Or anything else? I want to go drive my car. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, let's do it. It's too nice
All right.
outside.
For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you're not getting the Justin Moore interview, but for everybody else on the podcast apps, you got that, and it's coming up right after this closing jingle of love.
Oh, yeah.
This was the podcast, but now it's over. But that's okay, because you can listen to the regular show on the radio
Every
every day.
Every day.
It was the podcast.